Once upon a time, a girl had a breakdown, and the breakdown gave her beans, which led to a moose befriending a goose. That's right, it's the last Wonkily ever after on TikTok. I'm not handling it well. But kids, let's let their story be told. 2024 was so chaotic that she was gifted not just any breakdown bean, but a jumping bean, whose path would take the road less traveled by. Not in an inspiring way, but in a I can't control which way I'm walking sort of way. So here we go. Goose was wobbly, Goose was blind. Goose said white blood cells go bye-bye. Was a pan Luke a fluke, but he refused to take a duke. And we said, Holy Trinity, oh hear our cries. We shall not die. Goose said, I sure can try. And Megan sighed. Then white blood cells went high. 2 days later, what? Then he would not eat. He said, you give me meat, but I am in the mood for tube. So we raced out the door to an emergency vet right after we had just gotten home from his primary vet. Right after we had just discussed the worry of him biting off the tube and what size to use. And whether I was being overly worried because it's never happened before and he's barely got teeth, but we can't sedate him. But he's gotta eat. And Megan, you're fine.
It's not like you're gonna have to spend all night going to different emergency rooms looking for somebody who has small enough tools to get it out.
And risk sedating him anyway so that he can just come home and be like, oh, actually, I can eat now, and also I can see. But depth perception isn't a real thing. There is no up and down. But that won't stop me from causing absolute chaos or making you help me poop. Oop, but blessed be, we'd spread the word. You all had heard we were gifted turds. Surely we had reached the peak of this avalanching mountain. No. You see, there's no such thing as an avalanche if there's no up and down. Similarly, we discovered that Goose has an on and off setting, which flips only between hyperdrive and have I died. Allow me to explain. Goose began spending every day either causing havoc in every which way or seeming to have an out-of-body experience, while his wobbles and ataxia were getting so much better and he was racing around and eating on his own and living up to his name entirely. When he was not being a silly goose, he was in a coma. Now, I may have forgotten to add that Goose is also deaf, and so we thought that maybe he was just taking really deep sleep. Surely that would explain the non-responsive body that is breathing. But there's been no evidence of symptoms regarding the forbidden dance. Could it be narcolepsy? Now, typically that has some sort of pattern or trigger, but I told you this was the road less traveled by. Really flailing about out there. 'Tis life. And so we scheduled him for a second neurology opinion with our favorite neurologist. And in the meantime, Goose was really in need of a friend his size. And because Goose was taking up so much focus, we didn't want anything too wonky. And so we cautiously started putting out the search. We would search high and low while he searched far and wide. Just kidding, there is no search. Just think the word kitten and all of a sudden you have one. It's in the contract. And voila, kitten's being dingled over the pier and we say, hey, that's not a great idea. Let's give him to Goose for a different type of torment. Friendship. But don't worry, Moose knows the luxury of up and down, and so he can escape the wild goose. Surely there couldn't be any more unexpected turns on this road less traveled by. Did you forget who's leading us? Q, one of the most panicked I have ever been in rescue. I can handle wonky. I expect wonky. But they are coming in wonky. It is still according to plan. And I guess somebody was feeling a little bit left out or didn't have the best role models because all of a sudden my normal kitten was wonky. No. That is not according to plan. No. What have I done? It's me. I'm the problem. I'm the wonk. I'm breaking them. How do I explain this? I'm doing something wrong. I'm a Virgo. This can't be happening. To the ER. I'll accept you exactly how you are, but if I'm the one who broke you, I'm done. Game over. I quit. How is this happening? Well, it was actually the simplest and easiest explanation. In the house of it's not the obvious, it absolutely was the obvious. An inner ear infection that was asymptomatic until it went neuro. And so they both went to our neurology appointment. But not before Goose took the opportunity to act on Moose's downfall. For this was the perfect time for him to discover the up and down. He woke up and said, it's cool, guys, I get it now. And so his symptoms stabilized and he became less wobbly than Moose. It was Freaky Friday on a wonky Wednesday and I absolutely was freaked. But the frequency of Goose's off periods decreased significantly as he finally began to grow. And neurology said, you want to know something so punny? I think he has cataplexy. Normally cataplexy and narcolepsy go hand in hand, but in his case he doesn't seem to have narcolepsy, just the cataplexy. Which means he really was turning on and off. So we said, okay, so what do we do? He said, well, he's not symptomatic enough anymore to warrant meds, but if he gets worse, we can try Adderall. And I said, hell yeah. And then they were both cleared for neuter and adoption. So now, our dear readers, our story finally does come to a close. Not just on Moose and Goose, but on all these blessings you've all produced. You've made a dream of wonky wonder become a world of wonky fun, a community accepting of every wonky one. But while our journey here is done, I'm going to hope it's just begun, because the world needs each one of you. It's us broken pieces that are the glue. You've been my serotonin amidst the panic. Although our stories be erratic, it's each of us who makes the magic. You built us from the ground up. Every single one of you. It's from the panic that we grew. And good God, will I miss you. But we will find each other again. Some way, somehow. We've always found a way to mend things so far broken that it's hard to comprehend. But we always transcend, even if it's so high sometimes that it just feels like we're free falling. It just might always look a little different, a little wonky, if you will. But I need you to remember that it is within the panic that serotonin thrives. I love you all.